All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And salutation to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's the brother Shati from the Chicago camp coming back to you with what I hope is another quick and edifying sit down. And there's a lot of information that I want to get out. I may bring out one, two, maybe one precept. As I said before, there's a lot of information that's about to come out, and I don't want to make this video too long. That's not my style of making long videos. As the elder in our camp says, Jake got a short attention span. So with that being said, this is coming from Lisa Haven's website, and it's entitled Government Activates Its All-Seeing Eye, the Prophet of Your Future. So without further ado, let's get this started.
Now we're going to move into our segment. You're all very familiar with the Black Vault, and I know Lisa's talked about it on our broadcast 100 times, the MK Ultra experiments and the depravity of what our government did. Well, the only reason I'm using this is because I want you to understand the facts behind what's released many years after it happens, because what we're about to talk about, the reality of which, when the full scope is released, I hope we all live through it to tell about it, because MK Ultra, the mind control, what they did to people to try to get into the minds of us. For what? For why? And what are they moving this technology towards? Just simple control of civilization? Well, they seem to have chosen a different path. But they still won. Did you see this article that just came out? Tech that can read our minds takes a step closer. Just read the opening paragraph on this. Researchers in the U.S. have for the first time constructed intelligible synthetic speech using the computer processing of human brain activity. Long and short, as your brain's firing through the scanner, they can tell you the words that you would be saying and what you're thinking without you speaking a word, without moving your lips. Imagine the interrogation implications behind this. You can just ask me a series of questions, and by scanning my brain, you can tell what my responses are. Talk about the Orwellian horror show just starting. Well, that is just the tip of the iceberg of what they're doing to gain complete control of our civilization. So let's move on to our all allegedly dark DARPA, the Secret Government Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, which is not secret anymore. Although some of the projects they're working on, they would like you to think they are. Well, DARPA just crossed into the Minority Report, except this is real life. Now, here's the technical term: generating actionable understanding of real-world phenomena with AI. What does that mean? Here's what that means. That this is called Kairos. Kairos is a supercomputer in every way, shape, and form. And Kairos has the ability, will have the ability, because if you believe it doesn't exist already, that would be a very short-sighted thought. It has the ability to reach out into the Internet of Things, the IoT. The Internet of Things is every single electronic device, phone, Fitbit, car, anything that reports back to the internet, to take all that information and build a profile of what you're going to do, not today, not what you did yesterday, but what you're going to do in the future. That's what Kairos is designed to do. It's a threat assessment artificial intelligence. It is going to assess what threat you're going to be in the future. Allegedly, once again, all in this interest of national security and American safety. We're going to keep you safe by going after those nasty terrorists, or potentially nasty terrorists. No, Kairos is by far more devious than that. The article that came out And I always like to give credit where credit's due. DARPA proposes an AI that can monitor the entire world for threats. Do you realize the scope? It can monitor and take data from the entire world to assess where the next threat may be. Opening paragraph, DARPA already has a reputation as the mad scientist lab of the defense industry, even if they're trying to deny their work on metahumans or cyborgs. They are trying to deny it. But their previous project pale in comparison to the sheer scope of the newest artificial intelligence proposal, Kairos, short for knowledge-directed artificial intelligence reasoning over schemas. Schemas. Patterns that can lead to future actions. Do you like the thought of being in prison for what you may do in the future? That's what Kairos is going to bring the probability of. Imagine the globalist cabal control that would give if it was to target religion. It was to target who you would give birth to. If it was to target what political direction you might take in your future, because all of that is available on the Internet of Things. And don't worry if you need to feed it a little bit more, if it's not exactly sure who you are, if it's not exactly sure how you're going to age, because any of you who took the Facebook challenge of here was me 10 years ago, you just fed the machine an algorithm of how you're going to age, so it will know 20 years from now what you're going to look like. And if that's not bad enough, and facial recognition wasn't Orwellian enough to feed the Kairos beast, IBM hopes 1 million faces will help fight bias in facial recognition. 1 million images of what? And where did you get them? This is the beast we're feeding. The beast is now in one part, one head has a name of Kairos. Feeding, and feeding. And if you think you can hide, and if you think anywhere you go with this device allows you to hide, if you think that car you're in, because people say, I just won't take my phone. Well, are you in a car that's run by electronics? They're going to find you there too. And if that's not bad enough, there is now a private company. This just appeared on 60 Minutes not that long ago. Private company launches largest fleet of satellites in human history to photograph Earth. How many times will it take a picture of every square inch of Earth every day? Down to perfect clarity to the size of my fist. My fist to say, how dare you take my picture? It knows it's me, fed by the beast of facial recognition, down to the clarity, perfect clarity, down to this size from satellites in orbit, the largest fleet of satellites ever launched in human history. And guess what? Those images are for sale to the highest bidder. And you tell me they'll be able to secure those images. They'll be able to secure the images of whatever beast may target you and where you drove and where you go. And if it can't find you, don't worry. Those facial recognition cameras will find you. And if it doesn't know what you're thinking, don't worry. It will scan your brain and find out exactly where you're thinking you want to go. And if you tried to hide all that and you put foil everywhere and you got in your little box of privacy and you happen to put in to anything in the social media over the last 5 years, Kairos is going to predict what you're going to do wrong anyway. This is enslavement and entrapment to a degree that our human civilization has never seen. In the history of the world has there been such repression and such control and such a demonic system to stop us all in our tracks that we can't even escape this web anymore. It's spun around us so many times and we've allowed it through little steps to do it. And so Lisa asked me to come on this broadcast and get you up to speed on exactly what's happening. And they're going to weaponize it through the 5G network, because the 5G network is going to take all this data and it's going to feed Kairos at the speed of light. Because 5G, if you've heard about the cloud and all these cloud contracts and Amazon bidding on it and Bezos getting in trouble because there was insider information and Google saying, oh, we're not going to participate in it, but we might participate in it, and Microsoft saying, I want the cloud. Well, guess what? It's all useless rhetoric and banter because they don't need the cloud, because 5G will give instantaneous data to the beast of Kairos. It will give instantaneous data to any of the globalist cabal that want to find us and maybe repress our religion, repress our our voices, repress our political affiliations. This is the beast that we're feeding today. And that's why Lisa asked me to come here and get you up to speed on exactly how big, how large, how thick, how dangerous, and how demonic this web is. Then we are going to continue to build visibility so you're aware of everything happening around you. Once again, I hope if you haven't subscribed to my website.
So there you have it. This government has now made and possibly perfected a system that's going to be able to monitor each and every single man, woman, child, animal, anything it wants at every single moment throughout the entire earth for as long as they live. Not only that, it will be able to predict their actions. All right. And there's some certain things that I wanted to bring up. First was, why name this system Kairos? What's the meaning of it? So, of course, we went to Google and it says Kairos, a propitious moment for decision or action. And when you look up that word propitious, all it means is advantageous. So it says an advantageous moment for decision or action. Now, why would they say that this system should be named a machine that gives an advantageous moment for decision or action? It's because it can predict the future. It will be able to highly predict what is going to be your next move, what is going to be the next thing you do or say, or how you may develop into the future. Now, as I looked at this video, I was like, wow, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Captain America, Zola's algorithm and predictive analytics, posted on September 15, 2014. So very soon it's going to be about 5 years old when that movie came out. And as most of you all may or may not remember, I remember very clearly. It was a point in the movie where Captain America, Black Widow, and Falcon had the Hydra agent on the roof, and they was interrogating him, and they were asking him, what is Zola's algorithm? And after having him believe that they were going to really drop him off the roof, he confessed what's in this paragraph. It says Zola's algorithm is a deadly formula based on predictive analytics, or as it said in the video, schemas. Okay, patterns to eliminate people from the face of the earth based on their perceived threat to Hydra's reign. Using historical data, meaning pictures from your past and things that you do or things that you've done in your past, for all the inhabitants on earth, they could predict who would be a threat to their evil reign and eliminate them. Science fiction at its best. And in the movie, anybody that would speak out in the future, that would speak out against Hydra or be a threat, they would be shot down by those hovering ships. Now, if you put that into our real life scenario, they could, one, yes, literally send a hit squad to come shoot you and gather you up. Or there's one aspect of this video that he totally left out, and that was the implementation of the mark of the beast. So you're talking about you would have this algorithm that can link into the internet and be able to track people through GPS, microphone, facial recognition, and eventually, as I said before, what he left out, the chip. There will literally be very few places or any places that you could hide. And if you take the chip and you decide you want to get disorderly, they don't have to shoot you. They said, let's turn them off. And once they turn your chip off, you're a ghost. You're dead. You're going to be suffering a fate that's worse than death because you'll be alive, but nobody will help you. Okay? And this led me, I want to see if there's anything more. No, that's all that was on that. But I just wanted to get this in Psalm 64, starting at 5. It says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. All right? It's talking about how bad Uncle Esau, who is the so called white man, preferably the elites, okay, they discuss among themselves and encourage themselves to propose unrighteous laws and devices that will oppress the majority of the people in the entire world, particularly you Jakes, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. It says they commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see me? Basically, they devise these illegal and wicked things in their deep, dark, secret meetings, in their deep, dark, secret laboratories, so they can get an advantage over the people. And by doing these things in the dark, they perceive that no one will find this stuff out. That's why they say, who shall see them? It says they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. As I always say, this devil is sagacious. Okay? Anything that can possibly be researched and studied, this man has done it. Bad Uncle Esau has done it, and he's perfected it. He's perfected it so much to the point where now we have information on a system that's going to be implemented worldwide that can tap into anything that's going to be linked to the computer and the internet to monitor everybody. If that's not wicked, I don't know what is. Because you know what they're going to use this for. They're going to use this to accomplish the King Alfred plan, or I believe it's called Rex 84 now. Or I might have said that in the opposite way. It used to be Rex 84, now it's the King Alfred plan. But it's the same thing. And if you don't know what that is, I highly suggest you do your research on it. Because you better believe these elites, this government, they do have the people that they know need to get rounded up and put in jail or put to death. I believe the first people on that list were military personnel. And then after that, any type of religious groups, so-called religious groups. So that's us. That's us, the men of the Lord. They're coming. They're coming for us. And when this system gets established, they're going to be using it to try to track every single last one of us. And it says, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. That means they've taken careful time and they've been very patient to figure out every single possible scenario, every single possible flaw that could come up to hinder this machine to working and functioning to its 100% maximum potential. All right, this is a very serious thing. This is part of that predictive programming. These are things that we as men of the Lord we have to keep a watch out and we have to inform our people. Because this is something that once you read it, I mean, granted, you should be doing it anyway, but these are things when the Most High allows us to get these small glimpses of what this devil is going to do to us. These should be things that should further push us to want to read more, to pray more, to fast more, to build up our faith. Because the Most High gives us these small little glimpses of what this devil's going to do to us. Not that we should be so worried about that, because we already know he's going to lose. But the thing is, only the Lord truly knows what this devil is going to bring upon us. And because only Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai knows, and many of these things are going to come as, we'll know what it is, but some of these things will come as a surprise. We should be that much more diligent and fervent in increasing our spirituality, our faith, our prayer, our reading, everything. Because this is going to, how should I say this? This this system, this computer, Kairos, is going to help contribute to the affliction that we're going to be going through when Jacob's trouble starts to reach its apex, for lack of a better phrase, because we're already in Jacob's trouble. It just hasn't reached its apex yet. So, yeah, man, this is something that I just so happened to find on the interweb, and I just had to share it with the Akio. So I hope you brothers take the time to, listen to this video or even go to Lisa Haven's site and watch that whole video and check out the links, because it's a very informative subject with a lot of information. And so I don't want to draw this out any longer. So I hope you all were edified. And until next time, I'm going to say shalom.